Hello and welcome to Sangoma Society. My name is Uhani Wagamakwakwa uMakhosi Nomabutho Emsamo. And this is Sangoma Society, where we demystify the ancestral. Today I saw something that broke my heart. I saw something in denial of the principle of purpose. And it broke my heart because purpose is such a anchoring belief, factor, and principle in my life. I have, over the last 2 years, lived a life with such clarity of purpose that in spite of everything that I have faced in that time, I have not been in any doubt of myself as a person and as a healer. And it breaks me in one way or another when I see anyone struggle with the principle of purpose as something which is real or tangible. So today, I think I want to touch on what it has been for me to live a life anchored in purpose. When you're living in this world, things are so unexpected. Anybody can find themselves in any situation at any time. And it's only through the understanding of who you are in God, in your ancestors, that certain moments can be contextualized, can make sense, because life is a long thing, right? And when we're going through these varying cycles of life and finding ourselves trying to make sense of it without a solid relationship that is personal with your ancestors, it's hard. It's hard. That's where my whole ethos on life comes from. I believe in a personal, intimate relationship with one's ancestors. I believe that we're all capable of building that relationship with our ancestors. I've built a relationship with my ancestors that is personal, that is intimate. And I've done it through a framework. I've had certain tools that have guided me. Perhaps you imagine that I mean uMakhosi. uMakhosi was definitely a foundation in my relationship with my ancestors. It was an establishing foundation. But I think before uMakhosi, I had certain understandings and certain perspectives and certain experiences that informed even my experience of uMakhosi, because before uMakhosi, I was a Buddhist. So I was a practicing Buddhist. So I was chanting at one point. And through Nichiren Buddhism, I came to understanding how each experience that I had was an opportunity to turn poison into medicine. And that framed how I looked at my struggles. I looked at my struggles as karma. but it's not just how I look at them, it's just the reality of things. And this is the thing. There are certain understandings of life which are universal. After Nichiren Buddhism, because I did leave Nichiren Buddhism, much like umuntu nje okumele ukuthi athwase, the way that we run from one thing to another, that confusion, it happened for me too. And when I left Nichiren Buddhism and then I discovered Goenka's teaching in Dharma, and I did my first 10 days of silent meditation years before Ngitwas, and then the next, and then the next, before I even knew I had a calling. By the time ngingene ephethweni, I already had that principle of ukuthi, you meditate an hour a day, you journal. Journaling is a practice I began when I was 12 years old. These are the things that I believe I carried with me into my journey with the ancestors. And when I began my journey with the ancestors, it framed for me my understanding of ukuthi idlozi kuyini, ukuthi mina ngingubani edlozini. Understanding when a person says idlozi ngumuntu okade aphila, a person who once lived just like me, a person who went wrong in their path, who requires certain rites and rituals to be done for them to be able to manifest through me in this realm, but without the patterns, uMakhosi, that put them in the position that they need to have me as an envoy in this world now. Understanding that it is me who asked of the ancestors to be incarnated into this life, not the ancestors who called on me. Those perspectives created a certain foundation within me. And now I'm living a different life to the life I lived, ngingakatwas. A life in which I can honestly say I see God's providence. A life in which I can honestly say I have no doubt in my purpose. A life in which I can say I have consistent clarity. It doesn't come easy, because this work is difficult itself. You carry other people with you on your journey as a healer. And for me, the work that has come through me is the work that has done the most to heal me. Believe me, it made me sick as a dog for this work to come through me. There was a time I was in the emergency room every new moon, every full moon. The doctors knew it was just pain management. It took a year to go through the entire battery of tests that were required, from the physicals to the psychoanalysis, for them to know truly that there was nothing physically or psychologically wrong with me, that there was a pattern, because it was a psychologist who alerted me to the pattern of my emergency room visits. And when I saw and I went and I interrogated what they had said, it was like, okay, there was a full moon, I was in a place like this, and this was going on, and that's when this attack happened. Because there were certain things that happened to me after I had initiated. that caused me great physical pain, that caused me immense emotional turmoil, because there is nothing as difficult as not being able to depend on your body, because your body might fail you. And I had those experiences after I had initiated to become isangoma. Ngathwasa uMakhosi ngiyisangoma. But I had to revisit and go through certain rites and rituals all over again. And when I did that in the context of umuntu othwasile, azange ngarojwa mina ngithwasa. I have no story about ukuvalwa. Anyeke ngikutshele ukuthi ngavalwa isangoma. No. Angithwasa ngakathathu ngoba kukhona owangivala. Ngithwase all the times engizithwasile, because each and every ancestor who has to work through me has their own intention, purpose, rites, and rituals that must be observed. And for us to want to observe other rituals and not others, we rob ourselves, because we rob ourselves and deny ourselves the opportunity to establish the relationship with the ancestor who is trying to come through us. So when these works came through me, answers from our ancestors, clearing into consciousness, pivoting into purpose, prospering in Providence, what I didn't realize is that they would come through at the moment that I needed them most. I have, through the work brought through me by my ancestors, come to understand certain principles related to what life is. And purpose is key amongst them. We all have a divine purpose in God, each and every one of us. From the ant that crawls, the tadpole in the mud, to us, to those who rule us. And our purpose is not tied to earthly things. That's the sad thing. So many of us imagine that purpose is something that is tied to some earthly thing, to a status, to a position that other people can understand. But this is the thing with the principle of purpose. Purpose is between you and God. And very often, most of us are born into our purpose. We're right there. It's at the doorstep of whom we are. That's why I titled that course Pivoting into Purpose, because it's a pivot. It's not like a timeline jump. It's not this huge thing. Purpose is often right in front of us. That thing that we don't take that seriously, or that others don't take that seriously. That's often where purpose sits. For me, I've had to make big decisions in the last few years, in the last few weeks, in the last few months, about realizing where I have abandoned myself in favor of keeping myself available to people who have no interest in their own purpose. And it's a difficult thing. And I think that's the thing that we struggle with. We struggle with trusting our journey. We struggle with trusting our timing. We don't know that what we're doing is what we should be doing. We're exactly where we should be at this moment. And if we can bring our awareness to what it is that this moment has brought to us as a lesson, as a bridge, as an ascension into our next chapter. If we don't do that work ourselves, then we won't have a sense of purpose. If we look for purpose outside of ourselves, we don't stand a chance. The reality of the principle of purpose is that we're all born into a bloodline, and our purpose is intrinsically tied to our bloodline. Our purpose, our divine purpose in God, is tied to the purpose of our manifestation in our bloodline. That is the power of the relationship that we can build with our ancestors. Because remember that our ancestors knew us before we knew ourselves. We petitioned our ancestors for incarnation into this realm, into the earthly realm. And if we discard all pretense of understanding and surrender to the truth of what is, to the truth of our divine purpose in God, under the guidance of our ancestors, we become unstoppable. The path of purpose can be difficult, can be lonely, can be many things. But having a relationship with your ancestors that is your own, a one-on-one relationship with those who loved you into being, that's the guiding light in this journey. And then you find yourself in a place of providence where they have given you all that you have, and you recognize their hand in the abundance of your life. And then you work to ensure that the providence that has been bestowed upon you prospers more than just you, those of your bloodline, the community that you form a part of, and you as a person. Because we hate to center ourselves in things, but that's the truth of life. We are our own main character. And if we can't be honest with each other about that, we can't be honest with ourselves about that, then who can we be honest with? Providence is yours. Your divine purpose is your own. It's yours to do the work, to discover it, to be in it, and to prosper in it. Prospering in Providence is open for enrollment. It is currently launching, and the price will go up on the 22nd of December into the 2023 price. For me, Prospering in Providence has been a work that has shown me where I need to go for myself, how I need to prosper myself, how I can do what I need to do, not just for me, but for all those whom I'm called to serve, in a way that brings prosperity not just to me, but to all those who seek it. The tools are there, and it's not something mystical. It's right there in the foundation process of building that relationship with your ancestors. The ancestors are not mythical beings. They are the blood of our blood, the bones of our bones. They loved us into being. They know why we're here. Do we? uMakhosi, Nomabutho Emsamo. I am Honey Tell a Story on all social media platforms, and this is Sangoma Society, where we demystify the ancestral. You can find us on all social media platforms at Sangoma Society. All our resources are available via www.sangomasociety.com, as well as Sangoma Society on Teachable. Until next time, Ukhanyi.